All right, so today we're going to be watching a video, and it's going to be with my friend Andrew, and he's actually being interviewed about the event that we went to, the Pride Festival that happened up in Sarasota, the Gulfcoast Pride Festival. I guess they're going to talk about Tom Edwards and what happened at the event. I wanted to react to it because I wish that was there. I wish I was with him doing this interview too, man. Like, man, I wish I would have. Let's see if he mentions me. Let's see how loyal Andrew actually is. Okay? Calling you out, bro. I don't care. Let's watch this. If you want to support the channel, head over to the shop and pick something up today.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Cam in the Moment. I just flew in here. No, just kidding. It's Halloween. Happy Halloween, guys. We got a special guest today, Cullen, Andrew, to hear your week's biggest moments coming up. All right, guys, welcome back to the segment. Like I said, special guest here. Thank you so much for coming in, man. Cullen.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, guys, what we are going to talk about with him is the whole situation. I don't know if you guys are educated on it, but something went down pretty recently with Tom Edwards. He's a Sarasota County School Board member.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Just let me explain
Tom Edwards
real quick, and then we'll get into the situation.
My favorite.
So basically,
seat.
He's on the school board. But he's also the executive director of Project Pride.
Right.
SRQ.
Right.
So that was the event you went to, right?
Yeah, it was like a whole merging of I think like 3 areas. So it was like this big Pride event going on that he had helped put together.
Okay, so that's what he does. He also supports pretty radical LGBTQ plus beliefs. And being on the school board, it's kind of a concern for teachers and parents and kids and stuff. So he has no kids, by the way.
Right.
Someone on school board has no kids, and his husband is actually involved with Antifa.
Now, here's the thing that I want to mention really quick. I do not think that you have to have kids in order to be on the board. What I do think is that you just need to be in the right mind. You need to be able to know and decide things that are good for children. Okay, so that means also like staying on top of the new studies that are coming out about kids, the brain, how it works, that type of stuff, not overtly sexualizing children. Okay, and that is what Tom Edwards is working with right now, is that. And we all know is not to do that because literally that's just grooming children. Now, it's funny how like the left or the Democrats or anybody, I think, should come to the conclusion that grooming is bad. We shouldn't be grooming. But at the same time, Tom Edwards is allowing drag queens to split open their legs and take money from children. So that's what I don't get. I don't think having children should make you eligible to be on the seat. I think common sense should be the requirement to be able to be in the seat. I think that if you're running for that position and you have on your background that you're pro type something, then that needs to be displayed out to the public. Like you are a full advocate for transgenders and book readings and men in dresses to spread their legs in front of children. Like that should be something that you should outright just put out into the public and not try to run for the seat. It's not something that should be even allowed.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to break down.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But so before we get into that, explain who you are to them, to the audience watching. Yeah. What do you do?
So, what do I
Before we get into that stuff.
I honestly, I'm a small business owner in the area, but first and foremost, just a regular citizen. So, kind of got started just getting involved in local stuff in the community. Back in the old days with the old squad with Michelle Posey and everybody going against the mask mandates.
Yeah, by the way, Tom Edwards broke the DeSantis no mask policy that he brought in too.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that kind of, you guys, you want to call it like radicalized, which they like to, project onto you, was, him and Shirley, they would, talk all the time about, here's the concerns, here's how it's affecting people. And there was actually a young kid who took his own life, sadly, because of the isolation. And when I asked Shirley Brown, this was like behind the scenes when you don't see the school board, from their camera. And I said, well, what about kids like this and how that's affecting? Have you looked into that? And she said, no. It was no discussion. And so after that, I don't know what more you need to hear, but you do have to kind of just take things in your hands. So I'm just a regular citizen that, I like to go out and film stuff pretty much. That's just about it.
That's awesome. Yeah. And so you tried to go to an event that he put on, right? And
give me credit. Give me credit.
Tell us a little bit about what happened there and what that whole event was.
I was honestly, I thought twice about going, not because, not really about safety-wise, this and that, but it was more so.
It's honestly
I guess
disgusting to
almost
see.
like the forbidden topic. You know, once you're labeled this, then you're just a hateful person, this and that. I have gay people in my, not immediate family. I have aunt, uncle. If we were to sit down and talk about it, I tell them my views. They know my views, but I don't treat them any different.
Yeah.
We're all human beings. So we wanted to go out and film this event because I think it's kind of like one of those things where if you're not seeing it in person, you're only getting what they want to show you.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. So if you go onto their Facebook, which I'm not even gonna link, like I don't even want to promote it, but if you go on their Facebook and you look at their pictures that they're putting out and promoting, it's the complete opposite of what it really was. It was really they made it look so packed to where it was being like supported, by like thousands of people. There wasn't even thousands of people there. Okay, there wasn't even 1,000. Like if you were to group everyone together and count, there was maybe like 500, 700 people. Like it was not 1,000 plus people. It was not that much, and it was always the same people, because how they set it up was like they set it up on what Andrew called it was like the Gaber neighborhood. Okay, to me it felt like isolation. The event was happening in such an isolated place where people don't really care to go by or walk by. So the only people that knew about it or were there supporting it were people that already were like supporting that movement. So there weren't like the public walking by and coming in and joining. No, it was all the same people from 12 to 5 there. It was like a town, like a desert town surrounded by nothing. It was just that civilization, that population, and that event. And there wasn't that many. So the pictures made it look like it was packed, it was being promoted, and etc. And it was all nice and friendly and kind, and everybody was welcome. But the moment we didn't even, this is the funny thing, Andrew and I didn't even go there and promote that we were Christians or that we're here to talk about Christianity or Jesus or the Bible. We went there with an open mind to go there and talk to people based off the tents and the stuff that they had and displayed. Okay, so like we when we approached the table with art, we wanted to talk to them about the art, like what made you get into art, because what we want to do is show people that we care. We enjoy talking to people, but we also care about who they are, what they do as a living too. I think it's kind of cool that people do art. So that's what we were going to talk about a lot of the time. Like when we went up to the AIDS and STDs tent, we spoke about their topic. We didn't push an agenda. We didn't push Christianity, but I asked questions that, like one question, but she wouldn't answer it. She just kind of like went around it before we interrupted rudely and told we couldn't film the faces of her. But I asked the question, like, do you think that having kids watch sexual content promotes a sexual lifestyle? Like makes kids want to do this stuff, because obviously if it's like the popular thing, kids are going to do it, but you get them going around the question. But we talked about the topics that the person at the tent. So when we went to the YMCA tent, we talked about the YMCA, what does it offer, and etc. And and if the YMCA stands for Young Men's Christian Association, what does the LGBT have to do with that? Honest question, not pushing an agenda. Okay, but they're not open to conversation. No one wanted to film that part on how the transvestite man wanted to completely ruin every conversation and start arguments and just harass us. They didn't film that. They didn't show that. Why? Because they want to be viewed as the tolerant one. But they're only tolerant to those in the club. So in other words, they're a cult.
And so that kind of ended up being what happened. But my friend Caden Coakley, so he has a whole channel.
Yeah, he does content too, right?
Yeah. And so...
Hey, hit me up, bro. Hit me up. I'm sorry. I can't. At least he shouted me out, bro. He shouted me out.
We just went out there. We wanted to document the event. Not so much of confrontational style, but just asking questions and getting some answers. And so
all you want to do is go to the
just
event and
literally
document.
attend the event and talk to people that have booths. They're there because they're supposedly proud.
Isn't it supposed to be inclusive?
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
And that's what it came down to.
It's a little
it's they're pretty much antithetical to that.
Yeah.
It's only inclusive of people who agree with them.
Yep.
And that's it. We did run into some people who actually would come over and sit down and talk, which was awesome.
That's good.
Ironically, about the drag queens that we'll get into with kids being in the audience, they were not a fan of it. There were gay people in attendance who did not agree with that, and we talked about the transgender stuff and this and that too. But yeah, we just went to document it. We talked to some people. Almost immediately, we were talking to a booth that they focus on AIDS testing and things like that in the community. We were just getting stats, just basic stats, not even talking about Christianity, nothing, just asking stats. We go to walk away, and all of a sudden she comes up. She doesn't want to be filmed all of a sudden. She wants us to, we offer to blur her face.
Someone you were already having a conversation
Already
with.
had a conversation, already had walked away. And it turns out what had happened is that there's a local transgender, his name is, it's confusing, right?
Yeah, it is.
See, I get confused. Even in my video when I answered or made the video about her posting she did on TikTok about me, oh my gosh, there we go, I'm misgendering it. I'm sorry, I'm misgendering her. It's a he. I'm misgendering him. Yeah, that's how it goes. Yeah. So it goes like that. Yeah, I'm misgendering him. So yeah, I am mistakenly, because he did so well, it actually looks like a deranged woman.
Is India, and he had been
India
talking
X
to them
Miller.
as soon as we left
Yep.
to convince them that, we chop things up, even though never seen our content, never seen any of that. We don't chop anything. It's full audio, full video. And so I think that that's why this lady changed her mind, is because, she had it put into her head that this was nefarious for some reason.
And obviously, after you started talking, they probably saw that you were right about some
Right,
things, and
right.
they're like, okay, well,
Right,
now I
right,
can't say
right,
anything. Same
right.
thing we saw with No Kings protest.
Oh,
People went
100%.
out and then tried to interview.
Yeah.
And as soon as you start asking, they don't even know
Right,
they're there.
right.
It was kind of
Yeah, that was crazy too. Because it's always an assertion,
Yeah.
and then when you go to challenge that assertion, there's nothing backing it. There was no thought into it. It was just a flat out assertion.
But it didn't end with just her saying she didn't want to be
No,
filmed,
no. So we had to have an officer come over, explain the First Amendment. We said we'd blur her face, no problem. And India's like chiming in for no reason, talking about, it's always like a one-upping. Then ever since that moment, from that moment on, we had event staff following us. We had, they'd be radioing each other. He started going to every single booth telling people not to talk to us.
Literally, when I just tried getting a photo op with the guy on pedestals, walking around on those long legs, I tried getting a photo. Just a photo. I even said to him, like, hey, could I get a photo with you? And he says, yeah, hold on a second. And then India X Miller walks over to him and he tells him not to have anything to do with us. And it's like, why? I just wanted a photo.
So much so where there was even a black man. I say this because he's intersex. So I don't know. We didn't get even a chance to talk about.
Yeah.
Rare would have been a good thing to talk about. Really interesting. And India silenced somebody, and it doesn't want anybody to talk. So it is hot. So we decided to go. There's a sign that says, this is the SRQ Pride headquarters. There's event seating all in the parking lot. We walk over there, and I'm just reading kind of like the literature in front of the SRQ Pride headquarters. We go and sit down in the parking lot. Tom Edwards comes running out, and I kid you not, maybe, 2 minutes later, he's bolting back to the building.
Not even 2 minutes later. Not even 2 minutes later. That was literally 10 seconds later. He walks out there, talks to that reporter right on the left side with the black bag and the gray shirt. That's another reporter. He goes over there, talks to him, and goes around the corner. Like, literally, it was only like a minute long. Goes around the corner, and next we got officers that come over to us.
Behind him, 2 officers. And I pretty much called it. You can see it in the video. And I was like, oh, they're going to trespass us. And they said, yeah, they want you to leave.
Then you actually talked to Tom Edwards, though, and he was like not saying it, but saying
Right. Because he plays this whole we're inclusive to all, but behind the scenes, when he's in charge of something and he shows you like his true colors.
Inclusive until someone disagrees with you, which is insane.
Yeah, he was being interviewed by local media, talking about, God wanted him to be this way, and you could see the whole interview that he was doing. And we stood there because we knew he probably, he was trying to avoid us the whole time afterwards. And so we knew that if we just stood there, the chance of him getting away before he could say anything were pretty slim. And started asking him, I'm like, how come you trust me? Oh, I didn't do that. And I'm like, all right, well, can you let him know we can go back over there?
So I want to talk about an argument that you can bring up when it comes to people saying that you were born this way. You can agree with that. Yeah, you were born this way. You know why? Because you were born into sin. So you were born into sin. And then what are we told in the New Testament? You have to be born again. So you have to repent, turn away from that sin. So yeah, you were born this way. You were born into sin. You were born with a sin nature. And that's why we are told to be born again. As simple as that. That's the only argument that you should present. You must be born again. New creation.
And he's like, well, why would you need to go back
exactly.
over there?
He's like saying no without saying no.
Yeah. And, some people in the comments were like, well, he said that it's a public space. He was talking about the park we were in. Their building's on the other side, so that wasn't the case. But it really, I think, came down to they knew that we were there and filming, and they couldn't create it the way that they wanted to. And it was right after the first drag queen whole situation happened. There's a mom giving her kid money. And you could see it's one thing seeing it online, but seeing it in person, you want to go over and it just, it feels wrong.
If they don't want people to film it,
exactly,
that just goes. That speaks for itself that they don't want you to see what's actually happening. So
yeah, so they didn't film the part. They didn't take photos that filmed the part where the drag queen was receiving money from the child. And any of the photos that they have on their Facebook page and their websites or whatever they want to put up, you will not find photos of the little girl handing the drag queen money. You'll only find photos of that because we were there taking photos and videos of that happening. And that's one reason why I go, is because I know there's going to be activity that they're not going to want recorded or photos taken. Matter of fact, I was taking photos and videos of it, and one of the staff members decides to stand up and like move right in front of me, and like right in front of me, like foot away from me. And so I moved over to the side and got more close. That happened, and I was just like, why? You know that like this is how secretive they are.
Really, I commend you for even going, because
that's the hard part. It's just like, look, I'm not afraid of gay people.
They say homophobic like we're scared,
right? And it's like,
I'm more afraid of fat people
than
than
say of like
gay people.
Up front, hey, I don't hate you. I'm not gonna treat you anyway. And you got people like India being like, yeah, but you're not here for the reasons. It's like, well, what reason am I supposed to be here? I thought it is a public street.
Yeah.
You know, and so it was just one of those things that the child was, the way that the child was looking back to mom, it didn't even really, it thought that was what she was supposed to be doing. It was for approval. Then you had people in the audience. Some women had longer armpit hair than me. I'm just going to be quite honest. We're giving the kid money. And
what the heck? See, the kids, when kids get involved, like that's my line. Like,
and, well, that's the thing.
That's where the parents that are watching are probably concerned. We don't know that this is going on unless you go and start to show people what's going on. And as well, he's on the school board.
Exactly.
The guy in charge of this.
Exactly. And at the school board meetings, he's all, oh, I agree with, Turning Point USA chapters, no problem. I'm just concerned. There's always a but, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing is when he's on the school board, his whole thing is acting like he's all loving, all concerning, so he can get moderate votes, so he can get this and that. But as soon as he's put in charge director off campus, and it makes you wonder, what's he doing, when he's not in front of everybody in front of the school board?
He's working with the drag queens. He's working with the drag queens. That's what he's doing. He's working with other advocates of that community. The drag queen that was up, taking the money from the child, works with schools, okay? And provides a safe space and does education, that type of stuff. That's who he's working with. They're not just there to promote, like, just dance around and take money from children or do these inappropriate dances that I think even adults shouldn't even be consuming, because sin is sin and we shouldn't even be watching that stuff. But they don't do that for a living. They do that because they're able to promote their own stuff. And Tom Edwards, I know for 100%, I know it, I feel it, it's a gut wrench, is working with him to be able to do this stuff and to be able to promote it. And he's getting his ideas from somebody.
In the scenes day to day.
Yeah, I wanted to bring up something that just happened with Michelle Posey. So she went to a school board, not unofficial meeting that he held.
Right.
And she went to she wanted to film it to.
I saw this. I saw this.
Couldn't come to show them what's going on, and he said no, you can't film this.
No, so I watched the whole film. So what happened was that she came down. Michelle Posey went to a meeting, a school board meeting. That wasn't really a school board meeting. I don't even know what it was. It looked like a AAA meeting. She sits down and says, "I would like to record so people that couldn't make it, whatever, and blah blah, can watch and see what we're talking about." She got everybody's approval. That's the funny thing. She got everybody's approval. Oh, that's good. Yeah, let's do that, and etc. But then when it came to Tom Edwards was like, you know what? I don't like that, because you're able to take the clips and snip it and edit the way that you want to edit and use it, against us and make videos and blah, blah. And then once he said that, then everybody else around the area was like, you know what? We don't want to be on camera. We don't want that. We don't want this. And so I was just like, yeah.
And so that's another example.
Yeah.
It seems to be a recurring theme with him. He's not letting people see what's really going on.
Yeah, and even his answers during that whole thing too.
It seems so weird.
He did it in such a way to get even the people in the audience to start thinking, right, maybe we shouldn't record
so
this.
then people start to go, oh yeah, actually, we shouldn't record this.
That's a tactic. It's like a brainwashing, and it goes back to, again, if you're not there to film these things, you look at The Observer, Sarasota Magazine, they're all posting pictures of a performer on stage, and that's it. Like, it was just one thing with the drag queen, right? And it's like, no.
All nice and dandy.
Jumping, doing the splits in front of a little kid, and people running up and giving. What performance do you know of that you're going and you're giving some money and you get a somewhat like a dedicated performance for you, a micro one that's dancing like that. We all know. And
Yeah.
that's where it was kind of enlightening, though, to hear there was a guy who was there. He's a gay guy, and I'm only saying that because it gives context to it.
Yeah.
Is that he said flat out, I don't know how I feel. It feels wrong. It's like, again.
Exactly. And I think we're starting to see a separation between LGBTQ plus and just gay. Like
He talked about that too.
Really? Because there's such a divide in the whole movement. It's really kind of scary compared to a lot of people that are just like, hey, we don't want to get involved with kids and stuff. This is weird.
Right. It's not a debate of rights or this and that. It's when you add in the transgender thing, it has to do with so much more. It's not about who I potentially love or this and that. And when you see like the actions of someone like India going around telling people not to talk, dude, when you're standing there, it's just you two, and you have everybody start to just turn and look at you. You're kind of like, especially with everything going on, there is a concern with safety as well.
That's why I wear my vest. That's why I wear my vest. Yeah, that's why I bring my taser. That's why I bring my pepper spray. And yeah, so there's a reason why I go to these events like that. It's because I don't know what's going to happen. And if India X Miller, the he-she male, can turn people against us and make us look like a threat, I don't know what kind of action somebody would take. You know, if there's somebody even more unstable than India already, then I don't know. Like, there's crazy people out there, you know, like they've already been brainwashed to the point where they think anybody who's a conservative is a right-wing Nazi, you know, like what am I supposed to do when it comes to someone who literally thinks that we're a threat to democracy, you know, like a threat to democracy, listens to all the Democrats that have already come out saying that when you see people that are Trump supporters come out, make them feel uncomfortable, push them out and say that you're unwelcome, make them feel unwelcome, you know, like there's people out there that are so extreme they would take that serious.
It's a creepy feeling, man. I don't think I felt more unwanted, and it's the exact feeling that is espoused from the event. We have to create our own event because we feel unwanted, we feel we're not welcome.
That's a good point. And then you're the one there trying to be there, and you feel unwanted.
Right.
It's kind of contradictory to what they're even talking about. So I appreciate you going, because this is why independent media is so important, so that you can see what's going on without the news altering the headline and just an image, like you said, of just a dancer or something. It's not always what it looks like. So that's why we got to really do our research and do stuff like you're doing. So thank you for doing that, man.
No worries.
And I appreciate you coming on and talking about it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I want to actually bring up the wholesome moment of the week we do here. I don't know if you've heard about this, but Florida policymakers are moving to pass a bill to provide, speaking of children, provide foster children with bags and backpacks instead of trash bags.
Gotcha.
Because when they move and stuff, usually they get a trash bag, and it kind of takes away their dignity a little bit. So that's our good news moment of the week here, because finally seeing something positive going on in our state, you know? With a lot of the events like you just went to, people are probably like, oh my gosh, everything's bad even in our area. But there's still good people out there doing good things. That's important to remember. There are good people out there. You'll find community. You can find community in church. You can find community all around you. It's not all doom and gloom. It's important to remember. So no, that's a good thing. And it's important to remember your shirt to end the segment. It's a great thing to remember. Jesus is King. So we do let ourselves say that on this platform. You know? It's not forbidden. Yeah, you can talk about your faith here. So we appreciate everything you're doing. We'll keep up to date with you. But where can they find you? So pretty much on X, it's just the Cullen Andrew, because the one and only, right? And then you can find Caden's stuff. His tag all across all socials is the Expounder, EX and then Pounder. So he covers a lot of Christian stuff in the area. Yeah, they called me out. Yeah. And I'm trying to get more to where I post my own stuff, but it's not really about it. It's just more about making sure people see it. Absolutely. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you guys for joining this segment this week. You can follow me at Camden Trey B on all platforms. Follow him as well. We're doing great stuff out here. And if you want to see more news like this, follow Coastal Conservative News. We'll see you next week on Cam in the Moment. Goobers can't reason. That was that interview. Andrew, not Adam. Jeez. Andrew, you did a great job. You did a great job. And I like that shirt, by the way. I like that shirt. It's very simple, straight out there. Too bad you're a communist. Too bad you're a Marxist. You bigot. I'm kidding. You know, I started off one of my videos in my reaction to, I think, Tyson James. And I started off with, like, today we're going to be watching this fascist. And, like, some people actually fell for it, which is kind of funny. So, and then I had, like, comments down below saying, like, thank God I, like, watched the rest of it because I wasn't sure that if you were actually, like, meant it. But, yeah.
But Andrew, you're awesome. I'm gonna actually give the other guy a follow too. Kind of like on all the platforms. Want to keep updated because this wasn't uploaded on Coastal Conservative News. I mean, it's recorded by them, but it's not uploaded yet by them. Maybe they're gonna do it later, but I didn't see it, so that's why I couldn't find it. I was gonna react to it like later before, but I was like, where is it? So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Check out the videos down below about the recent event that took place, and then also, you know, my response to India X Miller and his response, because that's what happened during this event. So just to keep you updated on what really happened. So, but yeah, enjoy. Make sure you guys like the video, share it, and comment what your guys' thoughts on it. And I'll see you guys in the next video.